All right. You know what? Fuck burpees. Welcome to Strong for Life podcast. This is Coach Josh Wood down here in Hobart, Tasmania. It's Tuesday, and it's a nice drizzly sort of day. Today we're going to be talking about a very contentious topic, the world's most overused and understood exercise, the burpee. But before that, just want to make sure that I cover a few intro things. So if you're new here, this is the Strong for Life podcast, the podcast that is designed for busy parents and professionals and people who are time poor and just need a short chunk of useful information or something to ponder during the week. So we keep this short. And if you're catching this on any of the podcast streaming platforms, please take a moment to like, rate, and review. Not only does that make me feel good, it lets me know that I'm talking about the right stuff and reaching the right people. And if you have any thoughts, concerns, questions, or refutations, please send them my way. Always happy to have a conversation. Now, a couple quick announcements. Let's see here. The beginner steel mace course is in the works. That should hopefully be, almost ready to unveil by the end of the month. If you are following on YouTube, please take a look at some of the intro sessions that are there right now and provide any feedback you might have. Also, I have finally created the best protein pancakes that don't use any protein powder. I'm pretty happy with this. So if you are interested in just an easy recipe to prep for your week of breakfasts, just hit me up on any platform. Instagram's an easy one, at Coach Josh Wood, and let me know you want that pancake recipe. Now, let's talk about burpees. So when I first started personal training, I started off in 2011, I think it was. I made a promise, and the promise was I am never going to prescribe burpees. It's 2024 now, so 13 years. I've still never given anyone burpees. They're just the most overused and poorly programmed exercise I have ever seen. Like, my goodness, every new PT who wants to punish you for something is going to make you do burpees. And I am very much against the idea of exercise as punishment. Exercise is your birthright. Exercise is what you are designed to do. Movement is what you were made for. And to make that punishment for something just doesn't sit right with me. It should be a celebration. It doesn't have to be easy. In fact, it shouldn't be easy. But being hard and being punishment are not the same thing. So let's look at burpees. What are they? So if you're catching this with the video, I'm still not going to demonstrate one. But you've probably seen one. So the traditional form of burpee, you start at a standing position, you squat down and touch the ground. You kick your legs out to a tall plank, bring them back to your hands, stand all the way up. That's it, burpee. There's lots of other variations that you might see. You'll see them with a jump from the squatting position. You'll see them with a push-up, or maybe a jump and a clap, or an explosive push-up to clap. There's lots of variations. There's a lot of crazy people out there doing them and then jumping over boxes. We've all probably seen one. But where do they come from? I like this story. It's very interesting. It's funny to me, really. The creator of the burpee is a Dr. Royal H. Burpee. That is his actual name. He was a doctor in physiology in the, I want to say 1930s, might be 1940s. You can fact check me on that. And he created this movement as a fitness assessment tool. The idea was a person did 4 burpees. 4, not 40, not 4 minutes, 4 burpees. That individual's heart rate was measured beforehand, and then it was measured after doing 4 burpees. And what they did was measure how long it took from doing the burpees to when your heart rate returned to normal. A very useful tool. It does make your heart work very hard. The problem is the reason that most people tell you to do burpees is wrong. Almost every single time. And I will talk about when and why you should use burpees. But generally speaking, it's wrong. Most people just use it for hamster wheel style workouts. So let's look at what actually causes adaptation and the benefits you get from exercise. Well, we follow what's called the SAID principle. SAID. specific adaptation to imposed demands, meaning your body is going to adapt to what it does. You impose demands on your body, and it will create specific adaptations to those demands. So if you want to get strong, you have to work on lifting heavy things, lots of resistance. If you want to get fast, you have to work on being fast. If you want to work on stability, you have to work on being stable. If you want to do mobility, you got to work on controlling movement through range of motion. So, what does the burpee actually do for us? Well, most people will be like, it's a full body workout. Well, no. I mean, it's not going to make your legs stronger. If you can do 10 body weight squats, a burpee isn't going to make you stronger. If you can do 10 push-ups, it's not going to make you stronger. Does it make you faster? Faster at what? Falling on the ground? Yeah, there's a stand-up component. But if you want to get fast at standing up, you start from the bottom and stand up quickly. Or you work some variation of that. The volume and rep range that these get prescribed in is one of the biggest issues with them. No one just does fast explosive burpees for sets of 3 to 5. You're not doing weighted burpees for sets of 5 to 10. It's just volume, volume, volume. And it's a lot like box jumps. You know, it's one of those things where people are like, we should just do heaps. He's like, no, box jumps are designed to get you really explosive through the hips. It's not an exercise designed to teach you to bring your knees to your face as fast as possible. It's not something to be done with volume. It doesn't give you any adaptation that you really need. So it doesn't make you faster. It doesn't make you more explosive unless you're doing them, again, sort of 3 to 5 reps, maybe 6 or 7 reps, depending on your work capacity. There's too many moving parts, too many things that can go wrong. And this is what I see. I see a lot of folks, usually in their middle years, usually out of weight, going to the cheapest fitness option they can find, whatever new personal trainer or F45 or CrossFit gym is in the area. And they get told to do this complex movement for time. Most of these people can't do a good squat. Most of these people can't do a proper set of push-ups. And then they throw in a jump or a box jump in between. And they say, okay, do this a bunch. And then what is this doing for you? Well, usually all those places have really high injury rates, especially compared to other forms of training. So it's a quick way to an injury. And it's part of what I call hamster wheel workouts. I could give my 3-year-old son a hat full of random exercises and time limits, and he could pull out anything at random. And you'd have just as good of a workout as most of the workouts you get when they just say, do burpees, do box jumps, whatever, for time. It's a hamster wheel workout. It is something that is just designed to make you feel like you're working really hard. But working really hard doesn't mean you're actually getting any benefit from it, especially if you can't do it regularly. And unless you can do all the parts of the movement, the squat, the plank, the push-up, and then adding in things like squat jumps or plyometric push-ups, if you can't do those individually for decently high reps, you can't do the full movement well for high reps. So why are we giving it to people if they can't do the other movements? The risk of injury is too high. The amount of soreness and fatigue someone gets from doing these high rep movements leads to them not having good consecutive workouts. They take time off. They can't perform as well when they should be learning the individual parts of that. So it's often, I can almost always say, poorly prescribed. The reason that people tell you to do burpees is almost always because, quote unquote, it's hard work. Hard work doesn't mean good work. You could punch numbers at random into a calculator all day and it doesn't make you an accountant. And you're not going to get any better at being an accountant. So why don't we pick exercises that make sense for what you're trying to achieve and actually build your body and build your capacity? If you need to do cardio, we can do a lot longer, better cardio with better results. Walking, running, jogging, on a rower, a stepper, an elliptical, with a much less chance of injury. Why do people do it then? Well, because it looks cool. It's hard work. But it doesn't get people anywhere. So we need to look at why we're giving exercises as coaches and what they're supposed to accomplish. And as trainees, what is it that you actually want out of your training? Do you want to just work so hard you throw up? Great. Then just spin around in circles until you throw up. It's about as useful. You should learn how to do push-ups first. You should learn how to do proper squats. Then you should learn how to load those squats before you do burpees till exhaustion. That said, there are 2 instances in which the burpee or variation of is a good idea, is a good exercise to use. One is specific to mixed martial arts and grappling. There's a crossover there. There's a movement called a sprawl, which is designed to stop someone shooting in on you, meaning trying to stop them from tackling you to the ground by grabbing your lower body. The sprawl is just dropping your hips to the ground with your chest on your opponent. It's very similar to dropping down in a burpee, and then you have to get up very quickly and reposition. There's a lot of crossover there. And there is a time and a place for doing that with a reasonable amount of volume. You might want to do it fast and explosive in shorter reps. You might want to do it in a way that is more reactive as well, because you're training to react to something. But also, you're not going to do it for minutes on minutes. That'll never happen. There's a level of conditioning that's important there, but you can build that general conditioning with other aspects of the sport or general conditioning exercises in a way that's not just going to be slamming your pelvis into the ground and wrenching your lower back for minutes at a time, because that's not actually a huge part of doing your sport. It's a small part. It's an important part. It's a necessary part, and you need to train it. But there's a limit to when and how you're going to get benefit from it. There's diminishing returns. Now, the most important time you should train a burpee is if you are competing in a burpee competition. I'm not joking. We have a lady here in Hobart who has, I think, a couple world records in burpees. One is for 24 hours of burpees. If you're trying to do something like that, you need to be really, really efficient. You need to do a lot of burpees, and you need to do them for a long time, because that's specific to the challenge you're trying to undertake. If you want to get good at burpees, you have to practice burpees. But in almost every single other case, there is a better choice of movement programmed at a better duration and intensity that is going to give you better results. So if you like the suffering, dig in. Burpee your little heart out. If you like spending your time wisely and getting the best benefits for the work you put in, start asking your coach questions. And if you're a coach, start asking yourself questions about your exercise selection. And don't just do what everyone else does on Instagram. So there's limited use for this movement. The way it's typically done and prescribed and performed is usually terrible. So if I could just leave you with one thought today, it's just fuck burpees. See you next week.